Hi, I'm Michael, and welcome to Michael's Matters. And as a sign that everything is finally getting back to normal, this after the last 2 years of special pandemic circumstances, the Social Security Administration has announced that it'll be opening up its offices once again for in-person visits and walk-ins. This is going to be a huge relief for the millions of seniors, people on Social Security retirement, Social Security disability, that's SSDI, and Supplemental Security Income that have been forced to limit all their interactions with the Social Security office to online or phone appointments only. Now, to be clear, it's probably a good thing that many things can now be done online via the phone that probably weren't able to do before this whole pandemic. But for some folks, there is just no substitution to getting things done in person at the office. So today we are talking about the opening of your local Social Security offices, finally after 2 years, resources to help you know which offices will be open or closed, their schedule for 2022, and what sorts of things you may need to do in person rather than over the phone or online. Oh, and when is the best time to go to your Social Security office if you plan to go in person? Now, this is Michael's Matters, and before we get to it, if you like this information, if you find it interesting, if you find it helpful, or if at least you find it useful, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And that way you can get updates when our newest and most informative videos become available. So let's start off with the big news that many Social Security local offices will be opening the doors starting Thursday, April 7th, all around the country. Finally, after 2 years of being mostly closed for walk-ins, the offices are starting to reopen and allow community members to get help at their local Social Security offices without needing an in-person appointment that usually required a specific emergency or critical need that justified the in-person appointment. Now, the reasoning why these offices have been closed for so long is it's really kind of messy. It's partly because of the pandemic, it's partly because of politics, and partly because of reluctance by the unions representing Social Security workers and the administration who couldn't come to an agreement about when everybody should actually get back to work. These closures have had a real devastating effect, though, on Americans who need to utilize services, like applying for disability, resolving issues with their Medicare and Social Security benefits, or heck, even just trying to get a new Social Security card sent out to them. The hardest hit by these closures, of course, are going to be the millions of folks who are on supplemental security or disability, or who may be disabled or have limited resources, or maybe are just uncomfortable with using phone or online applications to apply for benefits. Moreover, the folks who are willing to call, the wait times have been atrocious, and it led to a lot of people basically just giving up on trying to get the help that they deserve and that they need. This was sadly evident with the number of people awarded Supplemental Security Income, so that's SSI, or Social Security Disability, SSDI, in 2021. It had a steep decline. Specifically, for SSDI, benefits awarded were declined by 25% in comparison to 2019's numbers. For SSI, it was even worse at 30% in comparison to 2019. So of course, that sounds like a lot when it's percentages, but when we put it into numbers, that comes out to 280,000 less people awarded SSI benefits and 270,000 less SSDI awards lost. So basically, 500,000 people less were able to get their benefits that they need to survive just because of the simple fact that offices were closed. It's definitely not good. Okay, so hopefully, and with some help, a lot of those folks who had to endure without knowing if they're eligible for benefits or not will now be able to reapply at the offices that are now reopening. Of course, it's important to know that while a majority of the offices are going to be open, not all the offices are going to be open for the public. Some will still be only providing assistance online or over the phone at a distance or in person for specific critical emergency situations. So how do you know which offices are going to be open and which offices are going to be closed? Well, I'm glad you asked. There's an online listing on the Social Security website that shows in which state each office that is open, closed, or soon to be open. You can just go to your state of choice and see if there are any offices that are closed. For example, you can see here that in California, the offices in Los Angeles, downtown, Moreno Valley, and Southeast Fresno will still be closed for in-person visits, while in states like Arizona, Arkansas, and a bunch others, all those state offices are actually going to be open. The letters that are in blue are for states that have all their offices open, and the letters that are in red are for states where some offices may be subject to close. Okay, so last but not least for today, let's talk about some tips for going to your local Social Security office, especially since, well, it's been a while since any of us have actually gone. Now, there's a famous Yogi Berraism or yogism when referring to a very popular and overcrowded restaurant where he said that nobody goes there anymore, it's too crowded. Well, the same can be said for the newly opened Social Security offices. Just as a pro tip though, if you think in your head, you know what, I'm going to get up early on Monday morning or Friday morning and try to get there before the rest of the crowds, I guarantee you that 90% of the people going to Social Security offices are also thinking that exact same thing. In fact, according to the acting Social Security Commissioner, Kilolo Kijakazi, the best thing you can do is schedule an appointment in advance by calling the office. Or if you do go to a walk-in, avoid the busiest times that are Monday mornings and Friday mornings at the first or last week of the month. So that means that the actual sweet spot for walk-ins would be on Wednesday at 11 a.m. Also, don't blame me if you go on a Wednesday at 11 a.m. and you have to wait. It's more of a speculation on my side, but it's probably still better than Monday or Friday. Also, at most of the Social Security offices, they may still have pandemic health protocols being implemented for the safety of the community as well as for the workers. So just be sure to bring your mask and be prepared to follow social distancing rules. So that's it for today, and this is just a real quick short one to get the awareness out there that if you've been having issues trying to get your benefits from Social Security or Medicare at the distance services are just not working out for you, you can now come back in for in-person services in most offices around the country. But again, check that list before you go just to make sure. And overall, I think that it is really important that these offices are now becoming fully open. And yes, of course, it's important that workers stay safe and the community stays safe, but just looking at the declining numbers of Americans who could have gotten their much-needed benefits but didn't, it really is time for Social Security to reopen and start getting people the resources that they need and that they deserve. Now, this has been Michael's Matters, and I hope that you found it interesting, helpful, or at least useful. And if you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. That way you get updates when my newest and most informative videos become available. So for Michael's Matters, I'm hoping that you take care of yourself, take care of others, and have a happy, healthy day.